the dream of a national championship more than enough to get these round net players from Texas A&M and Georgia all riled up. That's because that dream becomes a reality for one of these round net clubs today here in Athens, Georgia. Hello and welcome into the Spike Ball College Championships alongside two-time national champion Sean Boyer. I'm Marshall Harris, where it's already been a whirlwind week for a bunch of round net clubs today. Sean, you've loved what you've seen.
I have. We had some great action yesterday and today. I think the difference so far has been in serving. The teams that are making the breaks, getting the aces, are the ones usually going through. I think that's going to be a big factor today in the finals.
It's been a huge, huge weekend for teams trying to advance to the championship. Let's show you how Texas A&M and Georgia got to this point. Taking a look at the quarterfinals on, you'll see there's been a lot of competition. Really, parity's been the story, Sean.
Yeah, Aggies are known for their power, so I think they're going to rely on their serves, hope that's their competitive edge, while the Bulldogs on their side really preach consistency, trying to make fewer mental errors, and hopefully get that edge, clinch this win.
Let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, Stormy Bonantoni, with more. Stormy?
Well, Marshall, more often than not, when you see the game of round net played, it's on sand or grass or maybe even turf. Very rarely will you see it on a hardwood court surface like we have here today. But weather here in Athens has forced us indoors for this tournament, and it's certainly been a factor and been a challenge for a number of these teams throughout the day. Now, while the Georgia Bulldogs will certainly have the crowd at their advantage here on their home court, the other side, the Texas A&M Aggies, feel like they are the ones with the advantage because one of their 3 practices every single week is on a racquetball court at College Station, so they feel quite confident on the surface here today.
Thanks, Stormy. Taking a look at the Spike Ball College Championships format, these two schools will have 3 squads each, 2 players per squad. Opposing schools will compete in best-of-3 matches. Now, each match consists of 3 games. The first team to win 2 games win the match. As for those games, the first 1 to 21 wins the game, but you have to win by 2. Let's get you caught up on what's already transpired in this championship match. Texas A&M strong in game number 1. They never looked back, but game 2, a different story.
Yeah, different story. Laughlin served so strong in game 1, did not show up in game 2. Georgia able to show their true consistency and power through.
That takes game 3 that will determine who will take match number 1 and have a head start on this best-of-3 match series. The sport of round net is played 2-on-2 with each team starting on opposite sides of the net. Now, once the ball is served, you get up to 3 touches to try to return the ball back on the net, just like 2-on-2 volleyball. Think bump, set, and spike. Now, what makes round net unique is that after the serve, there are no sides or boundaries. You can run, pass, and spike the ball off the net in any direction to try to win the point. When a team fails to return the ball, the rally is over, and the other team receives 1 point. That's it for the basics. Grant Laughlin from Texas A&M. He's a senior electrical systems engineering major. He'll be teamed up with David Louie. Louie, 24 years of age. He's from Singapore. He's a mechanical engineering major. They'll be taking on the team from Georgia. It'll be Min Bowie, who's from Stockbridge, Georgia. He's a finance major. He'll be partnered up with Addison Powers, the final member of this first match. Addison is from Augusta, Georgia, just down the road. He's 21 years old. He is a computer science major, and we are ready to start with Addison Powers serving, hits front rim, going up against David Louie, and he'll get a second serve. That one returnable, but apparently it hit pocket, and the point will go to Texas A&M.
It's been an interesting start to this series with the similar score lines in game 1 and 2 of this match. I have no idea who's going to break out and win this one, but it's going to be exciting.
Hard serve return by Laughlin, and Georgia finds a way to get it done. Min Bowie answering the call.
Yeah, Georgia's coming in with momentum after last game's win. I think that could really help them mentally down the stretch here.
More, and that point goes off the hand of Georgia. Texas A&M gets it done. Let's head back downstairs and check in with Stormy.
Well, speaking to just the energy and momentum that this Georgia team may be feeling, their teammate Noah Luskus, who's been sitting over there on the bench getting ready to play, is known as one of the most passionate players on the team, and he got the entire crowd chanting UGA right in their ears before they came out here. This UGA team, though, they were sitting there feeling extremely calm the entire time, and you can see the calm and composure on their faces out there now.
Thanks, Stormy. We see the tweener there from Addison Powers to tie things up at 2 apiece here in the early going in Game 3 of Match 1 between Texas A&M and Georgia. Powers on the second serve, hits rim again, and Graham Laughlin and Texas A&M in control of this game, up 3-2. We'll see if they can get a break point and build a bit of a cushion. That one well too high over Min Bowie's head. And does a Game 3 have a different feel, Sean, when you're playing out here?
In my experience, the biggest difference in Game 3 is if you're down, the pressure mounts, because any mistake you make, this game is for it all.
We'll see if Min Bowie and company can come up with something and really build on the hometown support they've had here in this gym playing at home. A double fault there. So Texas A&M up 4-3, looking for a break point. And we've talked all day about how the break points can be so crucial as Louis serves and hits rim on his first serve. But in a Game 3, all it takes is a couple of break points and the game can be over.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the first couple games. I think it will come down to serving, as we've seen so far. Laughlin got pretty quiet in Game 2. If he doesn't show up in Game 3, I think the favor's in Georgia's court.
Addison Powers, too high for Bowie to return. Powers will get a second serve. Tied up at 4. Set nicely. That was able to be returned by Bowie. The tweener. It looks like he hit the net on it.
He did. It was a great point leading up. They had the control of it. That's all that Louis could do to get the ball on, so Georgia had a nice shot at it, but Bowie's leg scrapes the net. You're not allowed to do that. The point will go to Texas A&M.
Meanwhile, on the other side, you're not allowed to hit rim on a serve. So Laughlin will get a second serve as he gets a fault on the first one, sidesteps and hits rim again. So the point goes right back to Georgia. It goes over to Bowie, who will now serve with Laughlin receiving.
Looks like Bowie's tying his shoe over here. We saw that fall off in Game 2, so I think he's making sure it's extra tight.
Keep your shoes on, young man. Bowie now trying to get Georgia in front, looking for a break point. Fault on the first serve, hitting rim. Laughlin back to receive and ready to go. Able to return that, set it up for his partner, and then over into no man's land.
If I was coaching Georgia, I would tell them to recognize that Laughlin's been wrapping the ball a lot into his body. So we'll see here. You can watch him read the defense, and he's hitting even more towards himself than he normally would.
Great shot there by Addison Powers. Nothing Louis or Laughlin could do about that. Powers now will have the serve. Still looking for our first break point here in game number 3. That one was high. So Louis will call for a second serve after a fault.
They're consulting with the observers right now on whether that was high or not, and they agree it was high. So yes, we'll be going to second serve here.
Looks like that one was high as well. But now that's going to go to the observers for sure, not sure. And they are saying yes, it was not high.
I actually thought that this serve was not as high as the first one, at least.
Staying alive here. And Bowie hits him to the ground. So a point for Texas A&M.
Yeah, interesting series of serves there. In the end, A&M comes out with a break ahead.
Going behind the back, is that high or is that?
I think that's high, but that, I mean,
it was a great serve.
Credit's due. That's not easy to do. And it was clean. Hit right off the net, just came off a little too hard.
Looking for more. That's going to be a pocket.
You may have heard some new words watching today. Here's a look at round net terminology.
A lobster trap is a serve that misses low and then gets trapped underneath the net. A pocket is when the ball takes an unexpected bounce after legally bouncing right next to the rim. A tweener is when someone spikes the ball between their legs. A hinder is when a defensive player illegally gets in the way of an offensive player. And finally, a flango is a serve where you lean and spike the ball from the opposite side of your serving hand. Texas A&M up 8-7 here in the early going of Game 3, Match 1. Louis now back to serve. That's returned. Nicely done. And Addison Powers lays it down. No one within a good 20 to 25 feet of that shot where it landed.
They weren't close, and this really is testament to their chemistry. You'll see they have to navigate around each other for Powers to finish that one through. It's a good thing Bowie didn't get in his way. That can end poorly.
So now Georgia trying to make it happen. It's 8-8. Let's check down with Stormy for more.
Well, just a fun little note on Addison Powers. His fan club over there in the audience has a sign that says Addison has the power. And the Powers is actually the name of his family's band. His family's got a folk rock band. It's him, his brother, and their two cousins. They're called the Powers. And Sean and Marshall, I'm a little mad at myself for not asking them when we had the team earlier if there's an Austin Powers in the family, because I really think that would just make the group explode.
I think that would definitely make the group take off even more so than they have already. But instead, it's definitely Mr. Powers Day, Addison that is, as he's brought his team back to a 1-1 tie and a chance to win match number 1 here for Georgia today. 9-9, we are stalemated as we have been throughout game number 3. Tough return here. Laughlin, will he be able to get back on net? No. And the point goes to Georgia.
A&M was in a major hole there. It was a great set from Louis. We'll take another look there. He put that right over the net for Laughlin, made it easy on him.
Oh, nice soft serve there for Texas A&M as they get the point.
Louis putting the team on his back right now. Follows up an amazing set with a serve like that. Getting a break or two is going to be huge.
First breaker of the game goes to Texas A&M, and now up 11-9, working on a second serve is Louis. Here's the chance they have to create some space, but instead of front rim, and we'll see if Georgia can get a break point of their own.
And I think this is when I was talking earlier about the pressure mounting, it really kicks in. But Powers is up to the task and gets an ace there. That's huge.
Georgia immediately responding with an ace of its own.
You'll see the cut on this. It just jumps, catches Laughlin off guard, hits him in the body. His hand's nowhere to be seen.
Powers looking for another one. He'll have to do it on a second serve after a fault. Lays it soft. Laughlin, and then up, saved. Can it get back up in the air? It can, but can he get it back down? He does. Laughlin there, though, to return. And now Laughlin goes up. Another set, another chance. And Georgia comes up with a huge point as Addison Powers goes down.
Great display of defense from both sides. This point got stretched out a little bit, but we had some good sets to keep it alive. Powers hits it towards Laughlin. Laughlin comes in, doesn't get enough on it to beat the defense, and then a diving save from Powers to finish that one out. I think that he touched net on that dive, though, so it's going to result in an A&M point here.
So all that effort, the pain for Powers, just for Laughlin and Texas A&M to get the point. Now they have a chance to go up by 2. Laughlin on serve. Goes soft, set nicely. Trying to body up was Laughlin, but Bowie found the hole, took advantage of it.
You got to think these Georgia guys are really relying on the atmosphere here and the fans to get them pumped up and push them through this final leg.
Bowie now on the serve. That one goes under the net. Double fault. Texas A&M goes up by 1. Looking for another break point. Here's David Louis. Powers able to get it back to his partner. Then just over the outstretched hands of Louis, and Georgia able to hold serve.
Louis in a good spot, just a little slow to react. Maybe if he was off the net a few more feet, would have had the time. but can't be too mad at himself for giving him a chance.
Powers, and then back up. Might have enough time and space. Let's see what happens here. Just out of the reach of Laughlin, and the Georgia fans explode as they see their team go up by 1.
Yeah, they gotta love that. Another good set from Bowie we'll see in the middle of this point. Powers chases it down. That's a tough set from Bowie to know where the net is, know where to put it, and Powers rewards them with a nice finish.
Miss hit by Louis, who was over the top of the net. Costs Texas A&M as Georgia gets the break point and now goes up by 2.
Nicely done. They're going to go talk to their teams. They're pumped up right now. Georgia's done a good job getting into this and getting a little lead coming in the second half.
So Georgia goes up by 2 here in game 3 of match number 1 for the Spike Ball College Championship. The Spike Ball College Series began 2 years ago with UMass Amherst winning it in 2017 and UTC in 2018. This year, there were over 100 official college programs across 9 regions of the country, all competing to qualify for today's college championships. All qualifying schools sent their top 3 teams to compete together as a school. In a single elimination bracket, School A's top 3 teams compete against School B's top 3 teams. Whichever school wins the best of those 3 matchups advances to the next round until one school remains and is crowned champion. So back to serve now, Addison Powers. David Louis will be on the receiving end. You wonder, Powers will have a little something special to start off. Instead goes right at, and unable to set it was Laughlin.
I think that A&M can't really believe that they're coming back with the serve. Observers will make the call. Say it was a little shaky.
So,
and I think
a replay or no, the point? They get the point. So they do get the point, 16-13.
What a way to start coming out of that break.
Georgia, again, good out of the break. Another soft hit by Powers. And that time, Laughlin ready and puts the kill away behind him.
Let's see what Laughlin's made of. He was amazing game 1. If he has anything in him, they need it now.
Powers has to be aware the power is probably coming here. That one is returnable. Powers looking, and he goes off rim. Or was that a pocket?
That looked pretty rimmy from up here. I gotta say, that set from Bowie was 10 out of 10. You can't ask for much better than that. We'll take another look here. Running away from the net, puts it back across the net, which is where you want it. Makes it much easier to hit. Maybe being on Powers' left hand just was a little awkward.
And the observers give Georgia the point, saying it was indeed a pocket, not a rim. But Texas A&M right back. They've got some work to do, though, to make up this deficit. Georgia stands right now 4 points away from taking match number 1.
This is when it sets in. I think it gets a little real for these players that the road could either end here or be everything they hope for.
That one high off of the hand of Louis. As David Louis will have a second serve. Men Louis back to receive. That time, able to get it. Powers back over to him. And beautifully rolled out in front of Louis.
The infamous shoe coming off again. Doesn't seem to be an issue, though, for Bowie.
Maybe Bowie needs some new shoes. Maybe he's a half size too big.
If he's superstitious at all, I don't think he'll be taking those off for a while.
That's true, especially if this lead holds up 18-15. Addison Powers now serving 3 points away from getting a match win over Texas A&M. There, Laughlin able to return it, gets the set, and that's going to be kept alive. Beautiful job. Can he get it back on net? He does.
Wow.
No shot for Texas A&M.
That is going to pump their club up. That was a very far chase down. Great finish. We're going to get another look at that. Laughlin brought the power, put it almost into the signs back there. Bowie has to jump around them, come back, and to have the composure to finish that is just miraculous.
More of a chance here, and that's over the net. As Georgia was looking for another break point. Instead, Texas A&M does get the point, but that might have been the game changer there. I'm not going to call it the nail in the coffin, but when you're only 2 points away from a match win, It's almost as big as getting that final point.
It's big, and it's just demoralizing for Texas A&M, who are trying to fight their way back into this, and they got to listen to the fans get psyched about that one while they're down 3 points. It's a tough spot to be.
There we see Grant Laughlin faulting on the first serve. He's got something left in his bag of tricks. Now would be a good time to pull it out, down 19-16. Instead, he hits back rim, and now it is match point for Georgia. They can go up 1-0 and be halfway to the required number of wins to winning a college championship. Front rim there for Bowie. He'll get a second serve. Grant Laughlin back to receive.
It's a double fault, but A&M still got a hole to dig out of. They're going to need some big serving from Louis here. This is always a tough spot. Do you bring the heat? Do you take a little off? Do you try and play defense? We'll see what he chooses. I hope he tries pretty hard on this first one.
Funky curve coming off the net, and that will do it. Georgia takes match number 1, 21-17. Able to get the win, and you can see the home team getting all the home support out there on the court right now. And Sean, just the way they were able to finish them off in the teens, that's where this game was decided.
Yeah, it was great composure after losing pretty handedly in game 1. They came back in game 2 and 3 and took that momentum, rode it out, got a win. That's going to be huge in this series matchup.
Let's go down to Stormy Bonantoni for more on this big win for Georgia in match number 1. Stormy?
Well, Addison certainly brought the power in those last couple matches. What was the difference after game 1 to come back and really change the momentum? The mood of this entire building changed after game 1.
Yeah, so after game 1, I think we talked about getting serves on, so we landed some more serves, gave us the opportunity to play some more defense, and yeah, get defensive touches to eventually make the breaks to make the comeback. So. Yeah.
How would you describe the pressure and the anxiety to come out here and set the tone in game 1 for your home crowd?
I think it's really important. We need to just take the first win because the second and third games will be extremely close. So I think going into this, we'll have momentum, and hopefully it carries to a national championship.
Is your shoe okay?
Yes, it's okay. It came off a few times, but it is okay.
Congratulations, guys.
The shoe check is complete, and so is match number 1 between Texas A&M and Georgia. Georgia up 1-0 here at the Spike Ball College Championships. You may have heard some new words watching today. Here's a look at round net terminology. A lobster trap is a serve that misses low and then gets trapped underneath the net. A pocket is when the ball takes an unexpected bounce after legally bouncing right next to the rim. A tweener is when someone spikes the ball between their legs. A hinder is when a defensive player illegally gets in the way of an offensive player. And finally, a flango is a serve where you lean and spike the ball from the opposite side of your serving game. Welcome back to the Spike Ball College Championships. Texas A&M took game 1 of match number 2. Let's get you all caught up by looking back at game 1. And early on, it looked like Texas A&M might run away with match number 2 because they were dominant, Sean.
They came out really strong with serves both from Marshall and Henkel. Looked like Georgia was going to mount a comeback about halfway through, but just couldn't find enough points to do it in the end. And A&M will take game 1.
Kyle Chapman and Patrick True did their part in terms of making it a close matchup. But in the end, as you said, Marshall and Henkel too strong, but a very different story in game number 2. Texas A&M would go up early once again, but Georgia this time not only coming back, but pushing this one past 21 points and finally finding a way to get it done and evening things up at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, I think it really helped having the fans for Georgia. They rallied behind the team, and Chu, for me, was the biggest difference in this game, too. Able to get a lot of serves, get a lot of aces on, and find enough hits to get past it and force a game 3.
So Georgia not only playing at home, but also playing with all the momentum heading into that decisive game number 3 in match number 2. Georgia going for the national championship win. Meanwhile, Texas A&M trying to fight to stay alive and force a third match. game number 3, match number 2. Texas A&M trying to stay alive by winning the match. Meanwhile, Georgia can clinch the Spike Ball College Championship. Let's introduce you to our players in match number 2. We've got Luke Marshall for Texas A&M, an aerospace engineering major from Austin, Texas. He'll be partnered up with Frederick Henkel. Frederick from Sugar Land, Texas. He's a communications major. They'll be taking on the duo from Georgia here in match number 2. Started off with Patrick Chu. Chu's from Savannah. He's a management information systems major. And he'll be partnered up with Kyle Chapman. And Kyle, 20 years old, hailing from Hoboken, Georgia. He's a civil engineering major. So we're ready for match number 2. Marshall here is back with you with Sean Boyer, Stormy Bonantoni, giving you the call of what's been an exciting day of round net so far. We're starting out with Patrick Chu serving. Frederick Henkel able to get the first point on a textbook round net play.
Yeah, Henkel just throws that into space, hits it right between the defense. It was a nice solid start.
All right, so front rim there for Henkel on his first serve. And what's got to be the mindset here of a Texas A&M team that had that game all but won late and then watch Georgia come back?
Yeah, it came down to those mental errors from A&M after a very strong game 2, which ended up in forcing this game 3. I think they got to just rely on what they've been doing, keep to the same strategies, and hope in this game 3 they can get an edge.
Patrick Chu with the kill there. That'll put the ball in Kyle Chapman's hands as he'll serve. And Chu was at the start of that comeback again on his serve, able to bring back Georgia. Now Texas A&M's got to gather things together. For more, let's check in with Stormy.
Well, you guys talked about the mindset of Texas A&M. Well, the mindset of this UGA team is just one more. 21 points is all we need. Let's go in here and get the work done here at home. And Patrick Chu kind of funnily said that he was a little bit tired, which is ironic because everybody on his team makes fun of him for being lazy because he doesn't really move a whole lot out there on the court. He takes fewer steps than he does grunts, apparently, according to the rest of his team. But he said that he was feeling a little bit tired.
Well, he's been certainly efficient today, Stormy, and Patrick Chu, maybe they got to work on his conditioning program, Sean, but right now they've gotten it done. And here in the early going in game 3, we're seeing just from a technical standpoint, pretty fundamentally solid. This is what you're supposed to do when you're on defense playing round net.
Yeah, nothing too fancy from either team at the start of this game 3. I think they both just want to get those points that they know they can earn and not make those mental errors that have kind of been the difference in game 1 and 2.
Double fault there from Frederick Henkel. Goes back over to Kyle Chapman. So Chapman and Chu here able to engineer a comeback in game number 2. They can clinch a national championship if they can find a way to get it done. Meanwhile, as Stormy mentioned, Texas A&M just trying to get to 21 points so they can force a third match between the two schools. Chapman, front rim there, double fault. And now Luke Marshall will have a chance to serve a break point and put his team up by 2. Pivots over to his right. That one's up in the air. It's going to be a difficult return. And yep, that's one way to get the job done if you're Luke Marshall, as Kyle Chapman could not handle the serve.
Yeah, good speed from Marshall on that serve. And for them to get a few points up here in the early stages of game 3 will be huge mentally, knowing that the whole title is on the line if they lose.
Marshall serving for a break point, unable to get it done, however, as the point goes to Georgia after the double fault. And Texas A&M here in match number 2 has gotten out to leads in each of the first 2 games. Georgia's come back twice, but in game number 1, Texas A&M able to rally and hold them off. In game number 2, that wasn't the case as we played past 21. Georgia able to win back-to-back break points. Let's see, the fault is called there. And right now, Texas A&M in control after a break point. Henkel, you're saying that's a high serve? I don't believe it was, but let's see what the observers say. They're going to redo it.
Yeah, I think they're going to redo it, so it'll still be his second serve here.
So Henkel trying to figure out what he wants to do. Goes for the power, but hits the back of the rim. 6-5. Texas A&M up. Kyle Chapman looking for a break point. That one goes high.
A little high there. If you hit pocket, hit rim, or go high over them, it'll be considered a fault, and you're allowed 2.
And double fault for Chapman. And Texas A&M trying to grow that lead to a point where Georgia can't make a comeback. Return there. Softly done.
Smart play by Chu. He saw Marshall creeping on the net, so he just takes some power off, hits it into his shin, and there's no way that ball is going to be coming back towards him.
Fuengo still working on that is Patrick Chu. He's yet to land one of those, but do you like that he keeps going back to it?
He's been getting the aces, so I don't necessarily think I would tell him to stop. But at some point, you've got to make the other team earn it.
What a save. Let's see if they can get it back on net, though. Chapman instead ends up with a lobster trap, but it was a valiant save to start off the hit from Chu.
Yeah, we've been seeing this a lot today. Amazing defensive ups, forcing a chance at it, and then missing on that final stage. It's hard to be upset, but those conversions are what really make a difference.
Here's Frederick Henkel. He goes with the Fuengo, the soft toss. Chu from Chapman, and then Chapman with the finish. Great response there to a difficult serve, considering how powerful Henkel usually is with his serves.
Yeah, take a look at this. Chapman does a good job getting the short. I think he senses Marshall coming over behind him to try and play that wrap hit, so he hits it with a backhand behind him where Marshall just was.
Here's Kyle Chapman again, returned by Henkel, and then over to Marshall, who easily sets up Henkel for the kill.
A&M with a nice 2-point cushion here. They're going to need this going into the second half.
That ball goes up and high. Marshall will get a second serve. Chu back to respond, and that one misses everything. Double fault, so now Chu will be in the driver's seat. Again, Texas A&M up 9-8. Second serve coming for Patrick Chu. Is the team of Chu and Chapman. He hits front rim, though. It's a double fault.
Yeah, they're just trading points back and forth here. We've seen this today. These teams are evenly matched. They're trying to find the edge in the serve.
Here comes the set. Is that a hinder? No. Looked like it was out of space.
Yeah, if the ball was a little more playable, not hit so far along, we'll get another look here. Then possibly a hinder call, but Chu was trying to duck away, and Henkel didn't have a play on it.
Pocket there for Chapman. Georgia looking for a break point to even things back up after being down 2 most of this game. Double fault instead, though. And now a chance for a break point for Luke Marshall. Marshall serving. Steps into it. That ball goes high.
You can never count Georgia out. Just as similar to last game, they were playing from behind, and in the later stages, they pulled through, got the W. So I think A&M knows that in the back of their mind, and they're not going to let up.
Double fault there, so now Chu, with the ball back in his hands as a server, goes traditional. That was not a Fuengo. That was not a soft hit. That was just power act to do something if you want, and Marshall had no answers.
Pure power catches him off guard. Let's take another look. He shoots right into the belly of Marshall there, and he can't really get a hand to it in time.
So the jammer is the first break point for Georgia in game number 3, and here we are, all squared 11, and now Frederick Henkel will try to get the ball back in for Texas A&M. Does that by not having to do anything because it's a double fault on Chu. Henkel. A little high there for Chu to return. So a second serve coming. Able to return it with his left set. Can he get the backhand going? They keep it alive, but Henkel can't hit. Wow, golden opportunity missed there for Texas A&M.
Yeah, the body from Henkel to initially put that ball up. We'll get a look here at it. He throws his body in front of it, comes off the chest of Marshall, and Marshall's reaction time was pretty impressive to even get a hand towards it. But it was a toughie for Henkel to even think about putting that back on.
Meanwhile, Chapman trying to pivot on serve number 1, unable to get it down on net. Marshall back to receive. This one set up by Henkel. Marshall trying to figure out which way he wants to go with it. He had options, and he used the left. Georgia arguing that there was contact with the net. And they're going to say It is Texas A&M.
Yeah, I saw the net move a little bit. I don't know if it was necessarily contact from A&M, so observers will rule that it was clean.
Return there by Chapman. Now trying to get it done was Henkel. And see, that's a point. When you have a chance for a break point, Sean, you got to take advantage of that situation when the team has an unforced error.
100%. That was, I mean, to put lightly, pretty ugly from Marshall. It wasn't a tough position for a set, but caught him off guard.
And here comes Chapman, saved by Marshall. Can he get back on that? No. And so one team unable to take advantage of a break point opportunity. The other team comes right back and gets the break point, and that's how championships are decided.
Yeah, Georgia looking really smooth here. Puts that long. Marshall's trying to make up for this last point, but the set from Henkel is a little far for him, and so they can't convert.
Fuengo, and it actually gets down. I believe it was rim.
As you said, though, that minor mistake from Marshall could result in a snowball effect for Georgia to just take this over.
And there you have it. Chu right into Marshall again, unable to get it over to Henkel. 15-13. Georgia now operating with a 2-point cushion. Here in game number 3 and match number 2 with Georgia up 1-0. Take another look.
Let's take a quick break from the action to look at how the game of round net is played. The sport of round net is played 2-on-2 with each team starting on opposite sides of the net. Now, once the ball is served, you get up to 3 touches to try to return the ball back on the net, just like 2-on-2 volleyball. Think bump, set, and spike. Now, what makes round net unique is that after the serve, there are no sides or boundaries. You can run, pass, and spike the ball off the net in any direction to try to win the point. When a team fails to return the ball, the rally is over, and the other team receives 1 point. That's it for the basics. The Spike Ball College Series began 2 years ago with UMass Amherst winning it in 2017 and UTC in 2018. This year, there were over 100 official college programs across 9 regions of the country, all competing to qualify for today's college championships. All qualifying schools sent their top 3 teams to compete together as a school. In a single elimination bracket, School A's top 3 teams compete against School B's top 3 teams. Whichever school wins the best of those 3 matchups advances to the next round until one school remains and is crowned champion.
So we've seen here Texas A&M in each of these 3 games has built an early lead to watch Georgia come back. Here we see Georgia come back maybe even a little earlier than what we've been used to. Usually Texas A&M gets to around 15, 16 points before Georgia makes the move. Georgia's already made the move. They're in the driver's seat. 6 more points, they're going to win a national championship.
Yeah, and I think they can taste it at this point. They've really shown the resilience. Maybe that home court advantage, having the fans behind them is making the difference. But in game 2 and 3 of both of the matches we've seen so far, Georgia has powered through, and A&M's crumbling a little bit mentally.
So again, Georgia gets the break point after Texas A&M couldn't take advantage of their opportunity to get a break point. They're up 15-13 here in game number 3. The serve by Chu. The inability for Henkel to get the hit back over to his partner, Luke Marshall. And Marshall, I think, got hurt on that play, taking a dive.
Yeah, you saw on that replay, Chu is usually putting that ball out wide, and that time slips it back towards Henkel's left hand, and Henkel is not prepared.
Fault on the attempted Fuengo from Chu. Hits front rim on that one. But Georgia's still with a 2-point lead. You're going to need several break points here from Texas A&M in order to find a way to get this done.
Yeah, this is going to be a big final stretch for A&M and see if they can fight their way back into this one. But right now, I got to say, momentum's in Georgia's court.
Frederick Henkel trying to decide what he wants to do on his second serve. That one gets on net. Here comes Chapman trying to body it, but I believe I heard rim on that. And they're going to say a good point. Take another look.
Yeah, powerful serve from Henkel. A big windup from Chapman, and I think they're calling that that one good.
Yeah, pocket instead. And now Chapman serving. Georgia has a 3-point lead. 4 points away from a national championship. That one returned. Bodied up by Chapman, but nowhere in the neighborhood of one Patrick Chu. So it's 17-15 now. Luke Marshall trying to serve his team back into it. Marshall can't get in on net on serve number 1. Second serve coming with Patrick Chu. That one gets up. Chu going for the kill. Marshall on the run. Gets it back over towards Henkel. Henkel over to Marshall. And unable to get it done. And Georgia gets another point. Now 3 points away from a national championship.
That would have been a big point for Texas A&M to win. Just mentally get their heads back in this. Unfortunately, they don't do it. It's going to be tough to come back.
Patrick Chu now on a second serve. 18-15, Georgia with the lead. Luke Marshall back to respond. Double faults on the high serve. If you're going to get some break points, now would be a good time. Frederick Henkel, his fingers are taped. Goes front rim on serve number 1.
I'd like to see him just get this one on and make Georgia earn this point instead of getting a double fault.
Kyle Chapman back to receive.
Tries to get a little cheeky, goes short. We haven't seen any of the shorts really work up until now. I would consider a poor decision, but game's not over yet.
2 more points for Georgia. Here comes Kyle Chapman. The pivot goes front rim on serve number 1. First one to 21 takes the game. That one gets down on net. Hitting on 2. Trying to keep the body alive. Still alive. Here comes the rally. Chapman. Set. And a beautiful play by Luke Marshall. And a point that Texas A&M had to have.
Where do we even start with that point? First we had a on-2 hit that was, I thought they were going to be punished for. A&M, that is. Georgia comes in and they whiff a shot there. Gives Aggies the chance to keep in this game. Big game point here. Bulldogs can taste it.
Not just a game point, it is a match point. Who else but Patrick Chu serving for it? He goes front rim on serve number 1. Georgia serving for it again, and it's an ace to end it. And with that, Georgia storms back and takes match number 2, and with it, the Spike Ball College Championship. Let's go down to Stormy Bonantoni.
The UGA Bulldogs, congratulations. First and foremost, guys, after coming in 3rd last year, you guys said that was motivation for you guys coming into this year. How gratifying is the redemption on the stage and taking the championship?
Oh man, it's unbelievable. Coming in last year, you know, didn't really know what to expect and ended up getting 3rd, and then we took that motivation, grinded all year long, had practices after practice, played in tournaments after tournament, and then coming here, seeing all the hard work pay off is just, you can't ask for any better feeling out there.
In both of these first 2 matches, you guys went down a game to Texas A&M. How were you able to battle back and close this thing out so strong?
Honestly, the first game was rough. Yeah, we were getting A's, but it's like since we took that long break, I think we needed that needed time to get back into it. And I think as the games ramped up, the more points we got in, we just started to get our feeling back, and then we definitely came out on top.
Well, it was a lot of fun. This thing was rocking. If you guys don't mind, before I let you go, can I get you to call the dogs for me?
All right, you got it, Kyle.
Go Dogs!
Back to you guys.
Georgia, your national champions. Let's take a look at how they got it done in game 3 of match 2. Texas A&M got off to an early, strong start yet again, Sean. But you know what? It's not how you start, it's how you finish the matters.
Exactly. A&M won both game 1s of each match, but UGA coming in strong in game 2 and 3. We saw in their play, they were confident, maybe had some good talks with their teammates, decided how they were going to adjust. And in the end, we're the better team consistently.
And you take a look at just the Kyle Chapman and Patrick Chu combination. We talked to these guys beforehand, and we knew that they were going to be ready and consistent and depth really come into play, but we never even got to a third match because they were able to finish off Texas A&M, and it seemed like that home court advantage started to pay big dividends late.
It really did. It seemed like it was getting in A&M's head a little bit. Their mentality, you could just see sort of shrink as Georgia was pulling away, calling timeouts, trying to just slow their momentum. But Chu was on fire with those serves.
Yeah, again, Texas A&M had a lead early in this one, but once Georgia got in control, they never let up, and really no answers for Texas A&M late in this one.
It was tough, and we'll see here a poetic ending for Chu. He was big for them on serves and ends up getting the ace for the win. Couldn't have asked for a better end on Georgia's front.
That's how you get championship point done. The celebration on court, and Georgia is your national champion. And now the Savage Apparel Company plays of the day, and there were several highlight reel plays happening between Texas A&M and Georgia.
Both teams bringing out all the tricks, all the skills. A nice tweener there from Georgia. It was a good set from his partner. The fans are absolutely loving it.
And you see guys not afraid to hit the deck, if you will. Everyone had on knee pads, and they were not afraid to use them, even though they were on an unfamiliar surface for some. And you see the ace there to end it, and that was kind of the story of the day, is Patrick Chu's ability to make things happen late. Georgia wins the national championship. And we'd like to thank everyone who tuned in for the Spike Ball College Championships from our entire crew, including Sean Boyer, Stormy Vinantoni, and Marshall Harris. Thanks for joining us. The Spike Ball National Championship has been decided here in Athens.